And we are live, guys. Welcome back to another preview. It seems like an eternity since we last had one. 13 days. It's been like 13 days of history. A lot has gone on outside of the pitch, but now we need to get things going again. And today we're going to go through those things. We will start with starting 11s, talk about the changes that might not happen, some score predictions, what kind of game this will be, and what it will take to win. And then at the end, we can just go through any other news or anything that people want to get off their chests. But before we do anything else, guys, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit the like, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you always see when I'm going live. And if you haven't already, get up here and join the old TikTok. Because let's be fair, you can't get enough of me, right? We can have me on YouTube and on there. But welcome back, guys. Welcome back. We are back in the swing of things, and Bilal is straight in today with no issues at all. We will win tomorrow night. Exactly. That's the kind of confidence I want. That's the kind of confidence we need to bring for this preview, and let's keep it realistic, right? So let's be honest. We all have major concerns about what United have been up to. 13 days of hell, shall we say, waiting for United to get back on the pitch, watching everyone else play in Champions League, FA Cup, even just today's games, where I thought we were going to get everything we wanted from the Arsenal game, and then Tottenham just decided to lay down and die. So we're going to go through the Everton lineup to start with. But yes, guys, keep the chats coming. I'll jump into them as and when, and if you've got a chance, whack this out on the old share. Let's get people in because, let's be honest, 13 days with no content on a channel like mine, I probably dropped off the algorithm. So I could do with your help getting me pushed back up there. But first off, let's get this up. Let's get the Everton line up on the screen. You know how I do it. Here we go. So obviously, a bit like us, Pickford will be in goal. I think that's a given, so we will just look at everyone else. As far as I am aware, and from the press conferences and what was not given away, should we say, this is the expected lineup. Barry up top, Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall, George, then Gay, obviously the danger man who has been a thorn in our side since we sold him, and James Garner, and then the back four of O'Brien, Tarkowski, Braithwaite, and Mikalenko, who is probably the one I would be targeting. So I'm hoping Ahmad's on his A game. He's definitely a yellow card waiting to happen. Same with Tarkowski, solid defender, and I think we're going to need to make a few changes this week. Almost 115 subs, not charges. Well, I'm hoping I get no charges. And let's be fair, Man City haven't got any charges either because they seem to have just disappeared into thin air, a bit like everything else is City bound. So, yeah, guys, I think Everton, you never know what you're going to get. On paper, the names aren't superstars, but Barry is an absolute force up top. Harry Maguire will probably man mark him and try and match him strength for strength. And I just hope Martinez leaves him alone and doesn't try and do the same. Danger man Dewsbury Hall pops up everywhere, gets on the ball, likes to link the play. Ndiaye, I don't think he's going to cause any problems to Luke Shaw, if I'm honest. George, I don't know that much about. I'm not even going to try and bullshit anyone like a lot of other channels. Don't know that much about. Gay and Garner, solid players. I can see them sort of sitting back in a mid to low block, Everton, and Guy and Garner will just run the show from there. Mainoo and Casemiro. I expect Casemiro to man mark Dewsbury Hall with Gay and Garner being picked up by Bruno and Kobe. I don't know how. I would like to see Kobe taking Garner and see, academy versus academy. It's always, that just sounds great on paper, but how that works out. And then we just have to force them back with Mbumo, Cunha, Ahmad. forcing everyone back. I may have just played my hand there for what I think the starting 11 will be. But yes, Everton, long balls, Pickford up to Barry. He'll try and hold it up, and we just got to pick up the runners. So we're either going to have to have been working more on our transition and our mobility through midfield and picking up runners, or we're going to be playing a low block, and it could be quite a boring game. I always fear for us over the last, I say, 2-3 seasons playing the 12:30, the 4:30s, or the 8 o'clock kickoffs. I feel like the United players we have at the moment only seem safe at home and at 3 o'clock kickoffs. Anything else where the pressure is on them from all eyes being on from the cameras or chances to move up, we sort of drop. And that's one of the things I want to look into today, is about how we sort of, under Carrick and his team, are we changing that mindset? Because let's be fair, we had that chance against West Ham. Forget the haircut, because to be honest, he needs to be pinned down and just had his head shaved. I'm fed up of hearing about it. Everyone else is. He's had his 15 minutes of fame and some, got his money. We need to now just all forget about Frank. Focus on United. 5 wins, doesn't matter. 4 wins and a draw is just as good if we go on and win the next game. It can't be going 4 wins, draw, loss. And we have a point to prove against Everton. They made us look bloody stupid, beating us with only 10 men. I was totally disrespected by the club and how they played in that game, the lack of desire. And I think they have something to prove to the fan base. You know, come back at me in the chat if you feel the same way. Did the Man United team let you down as a fan when we played Everton and they only had 10 men? And are you expecting them to raise it and give us more tomorrow night when we step on that pitch? Be fair, I think, is it our first time playing at the stadium, this new stadium of Everton's? I keep going to say Goodison Park, but I know it's not called. Is it like Duckers Stadium or something like that? Dockers. So, evening, Danny. Evening. Good to see you. Yeah, so I don't think that anything really changes. Everton are high impact, hard to break down, solid defence, sit in a 4-5-1 formation, defensive, and then try and break through the midfield 3 or the front 3, running off of Barry holding it up. So I don't really want to focus on them too much, but I do want to focus on us tonight, because there's a few things I'd like to go over, hopefully with some interaction from the chat as I'm talking about it. So let's get rid of that, and let's get up let's get up the United team. Got to love technology when it doesn't want to do as it's told. There we go. And I think I closed the wrong one. Yes, I did. Oh, bear with me, guys. I am having a meh. That one. There it is. See, even I'm out of practice from not doing a preview. So, that's the Everton. We don't want that. Let's get rid of that. We want this one. God. If there was a button to click, can we start again? That would be great right about now. There we go. So, no surprise. Lemon's in goal. So, we will leave him there. And back 4, I feel we'll make the change this week. I feel Dalot will come out this week. I think the 13 days of training, Dalot up against Mazraoui in that training, I think that's it for Dalot. I think Mazraoui will just make him look bad, and anyone who knows what they're talking about will just go, no, Mazraoui's the guy. He's better than Dalot. You bring him in. It's an extra brick in the back wall, okay, in defence, because that's the way I always look at my defence. It needs to be a solid wall that we can't get past. We have no other left back. Martinez, Maguire are definitely the best 2 centre-back partners right now. and Mazraoui is definitely the best right back. So I think it's the right time to bring him in. Let's just have a look what we got in the chat here. Ghana is time to bring bring Mr. Yeah, I'm glad you agree, Danny, because I think it will be important. So for me, with how they attack with the three behind Barry and runners off, I have a lot more faith in Mazraoui picking up those runners and Fandallo being caught out of position upfield and not chasing back. Mazraoui is a workhorse, and I think Luke Shaw will do the same. Apart from being injured, in this respect, Luke Shaw never lets us down, tracking runners, things like that. He's played nearly every game this season. I think he's had about one or two bad performances, but who hasn't in this team? Probably Casemiro is the only player I can say who's been solid all season. Even Bruno's had some really bad off games. So Mainoo, Casemiro, it's the heartbeat of us right now. Casemiro, Jesus Christ, if we could give him another 2-3 years contract and we could guarantee he's playing like he was now, then that would certainly help us out so much in the transfer market and lower some prices because we wouldn't be so desperate to replace him. But I can see them doing man marking job between the midfield triangle. So if you think of this more as a triangle three of Casemiro, Mainoo and Fernandes, and then a triangle three of Cunha, Ahmad and Bruno, I think Fernandes will pick up the most defensive player, which I'm not sure if it will be Ghana or not because he's such a good ball player. Mainoo will pick up the second, and then Casemiro will pick up, like I said, Dewsbury Hall, who's more in their 10 role, which sort of changes us to playing instead of a triangle like this. We will sort of have to sort of rotate off the axis and sort of be a diamond without the extra player off to the side. My fear when defending is going to be Cunha. I can't wait for Dorgu to get back. Just for that lack of natural left-sided player. Just because Cunha likes to come in off the left, he's just not natural wide player. Ahmad will do a really good job with Mazraoui, but I don't want to see Mbeumo out wide today. The problem I had with the whole Mbeumo doing this all the time, I felt that Mbeumo knew where he was, but Cunha didn't. Cunha he went from here to sort of like this and ends up over here. But Bruno was here and Ahmad was here, and it left us very exposed on the left. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I can understand the people calling for Cesco to start, and part of me thinks that's the right call, and maybe Ahmad sits this game out. But last time we played him, Ahmad had Mikalenko on toast. So Mbeumo isn't a natural winger. He is definitely a natural sort of wide striker, so wide of the front three. Ahmad is more of a winger that can play in a front three. So it's a hard call. I love Cunha. I love the Brazilian flair that he brings. The link-up play with Casemiro and Bruno is superb. But I can see Mbeumo getting dropped to the left and Cesco being put up front. So I can see all aspects being done. What do you guys think? We've got Danny here going, do you think Cesco starts? I can understand it. It is about... So I said I want to come back to what have we done in the 13 days. So that's one of the things I'll go over in a bit. But it is about what have we done in training. Have you shown the manager you have a right to start? So really, it's one of probably the most important things you can do. It's like a mini pre-season. There's been no real talk of anyone going off anywhere. I know Casemiro did an opening for Adidas. I know, so he was still in Manchester. I didn't see anyone flying off to games like before Amorim came in. Amorim shut all that down and said, you're not flying. And he's quite right to do that because after about 3 days, if you take 5 days off, you've dropped match fitness. and it is that quick to happen as a professional athlete. A lot of people don't believe it, but it's facts. It does happen that quick. So let me get that off because Luke Shaw has disappeared. But these partnerships, if you like, I'm not getting all the pens out, but if you go Mazraoui, Mainoo, Ahmad, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Cunha, or even if you reverse them, those are your main passing lanes. And it's important, I think, tomorrow night for Bruno stays out of this void space here. He needs to stay out of all that void space if you were to do that. And he needs to play almost as this sort of V-shaped 4-4-2. And just play off him, Boomo, and just feed him little balls round the corner. No Hollywood passes, no 40, 50-yard passes. You beat Everton by moving the ball quick and enticing them in to make tackles, but potentially they will dive in and make fouls. But Fernandes, obviously, we say it most weeks, as long as his discipline there, Fernandes is key. So it'll be interesting if they've worked on anything specific for Fernandes. You know, Danny, Bilal, what do you think about this? As you're in the chat live right now, would you take Cunha out? Would you take Ahmad out? Mazraoui, would you start Dallo? You know, quickly let me know before we move on. You know, for me, it's a very awkward sort of decision to make at this time of year. When you've had a break, it's a bit like managers sitting there when they're on international breaks. You're thinking of something you're going to do, and then all of a sudden someone gets injured, so everything goes out the window. So yeah, what do you guys say? I'm going to move on quite quick tonight. I'd like to keep this sort of about 30, 45 minutes. So we'll move away back to myself rather than the tactics. I think that we are going to have a very important lesson from what Carrick wants from a tactical aspect. Because let's be fair, since he came in as manager, the amount of everyone goes on about training time. Oh, he's got no midweek games. He's got no Champions League games. He's got time on the pitch. He has, and he made it so simple. We're going to a back four. We're going to nigh on a midfield four, and Bruno and one other up front. And you're going to play as off the front in the 10 role. You know, simple as football can be, and all the players know those positions. But when you get 13 days and you don't go away and play these pre-season friendlies, and you've kept it in-house, and to be fair, everything's been kept out of the news about our training. We've seen a few little videos pop up from Man United and that, and you're only ever going to see rondos and the warm-up. You're not going to see any proper training drills. This is really important for us to, how shall I say, work on the structures for any individual team. Whereas before, we've just been sort of going gun-ho, which is the United way, where we go, they score 1, we score 3. Yeah? And we play till the final whistle, and we do everything the right way, the United DNA way, the Busby Babes, the Fergie fledglings, you know, class of 92, wherever you want to go up until the Glazers came in, that was our way of playing football. And I feel like Carrick's brought a bit of that back with Ollie, and it is just knowing about the past and what us as fans want to see in the game. So some of these changes, I can see Cesco coming in, but I'm worried about Tarkowski on him. If you play with pace, Tarkowski's going to pull you down. If you try and play with physical play and hold the ball up, if you remember when Xerxes was up against Tarkowski, he sort of hit him on the halfway line, and he almost reacted to it. He said something in his ear, and he knows how to wind a player up. And some of these players who don't like getting hit, you know, to quote Rocky, it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's about how many times you get up and keep pushing forward. Definitely as a striker, that is a key thing to do. Expect the contact from behind, expect the foul. Great, get the free kick, move on. Progress up the pitch step by step by step. Whereas if we go with Mbumo or Cunha, it'll be more about running in behind and running the corner flags, which is fine, but we've got to get in the box. So if we go with pace up front, they have to know to go in numbers, because right in the last sort of 3-4 games, we sort of went as individuals on the counter attack. So again, it's about that structure, because we're going to have more of the ball. We need to dictate the pace. We need to dictate the pace of play, because against West Ham it was way too slow. We'd watched 4 games of quick 1-touch, 2-touch passing, and at West Ham we just looked knackered. So now there's no excuses. We're rested up, and it's about coming out fighting. So, what do you guys think? What are you looking for over the last 10 days, we'll say, because I've had a couple of days off, I'm sure. Over the last 10 days, what do you think that Michael Carrick has had his, Woodgate, Evans, and everyone else working on? So, yeah, come back to me in the chat. I can see there's enough of you watching, so come on, have your say. I'm not going to buy it. I'll also try not to disagree, but hey, I can't promise that. So, do you want to see us passing out from the back? Is that what you want? Do you want to see little combination plays out of the back, or do you just want to see the keeper sending it long from goal kicks? Because when you think of, or I try and explain it now, in pre-season, the amount of days on the training pitch probably wouldn't have racked up to what we have had under Michael Carrick. So it is really important for you to understand that Michael Carrick's probably had more consistent day-on-day training from what Ruben Amorim had or Erik ten Hag has had when they were off in America and waiting for people to come back from tournaments. So I'm expecting, obviously under the assistant manager, we all know how good he is, to have got a message across, and and then we know what to do. So what's Danny saying here? We need to get back to that fast tempo, one-touch football. We do. But one of the things, so I watched back. We all have these clips in our head now. The Cunha, Bruno, and all of that, and Bruno, all of those nice little rhyming memes. But if you look at it, a lot of those touches, with the exception of Dorgu's goal, we passed backwards. So we kept the ball, we done all of that, and we passed backwards. We didn't pass through the press doing all this and move forward up the pitch. We actually passed backwards and came out the other side, which I don't have a problem with, because that's still progression up the pitch. You pass out, you get, it was always over on the right-hand side, wasn't it? Ball ends up with Maguire. Maguire gives it to Martinez and he fires it out most of the time in those clips to Dorgu. But with the exception, like I say, of Dorgu's volley, there was that little one for Cunha's, which was only 2 or 3 passes, and there was a little bit of luck in there with the nutmeg on Declan Rice in the Arsenal game for Cunha's curler. A lot of the one-touch play has been about retention, not about attack. So I'm hoping that we can start seeing that now going forward, because if you can get that 1-touch, 2-touch play with a run in behind on the end for the final ball, it's the most dangerous football you can play. It will take you back to my style of football that I love to watch, Brazil of the 90s. Your Carlos, Rivaldos, Ronaldos, Ronaldinhos, all of that. That's how they played football. That's how we all dream of watching anyone play football, growing up with my friends and family. So, yeah, what's Danny saying? 100% sideways bullshit needs to stop. That's what causes us to slow down. It does, but you can pass sideways fast. See, if you've got 4 players? So I don't want to shut the team up. So think of it as, I'll try and use my hands. Ahmad here. I'm doing it for the camera, so I hope this isn't reversed for you guys. And so we've got Cunha on the other side here. I don't need it to go Ahmad, Casemiro, Mainoo thing. You can miss players out. So really, Ahmad should go back one, say Maguire, and then he misses out too. That's what we're not doing. It seems like everyone needs to get a touch of the ball, and it's slow because every time you're touching the ball, you've got to put an extra turn in. And that's why I say that one touch passing is great, but you don't need to turn when you're facing the ball, facing forward. You're just receiving it and popping it. Whereas if you want to play short 5-yard passes and move sideways, it's easy enough to move sideways like a windshield wiper going up and down the pitch. If you watch Arsenal, they do it a lot, but you've got to miss someone out. It's what we call play the ball 2 forward, come back 1. So the defender plays it into the striker, he drops it off to a midfielder, and someone else has made a run for the midfielder to play it through into the third man run or into the space behind, into the corner flags. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for us to have worked on. So, yeah, so I do agree. The sideways has to stop. Let's have a little bit of a talk about the score predictions, I think. I'm going for, I'm sorry to say this, guys, I'm going for a solid 2-1. I don't think we keep a clean sheet. I think we'll be a little bit ring rusty. The players, they give me a fear of the more knowledge someone tries to give them, the more in their own head on the pitch they are. The fact it's a Monday night game, Everton causes problems, obviously, with 10 men. So, you know, with 11, I can still see them getting a goal. But for me, I think Mbeumo stays, Mbeumo keeps going. And I'm seeing a Bruno Fernandes winner from the penalty spot. Very specific. But like I said, their back line has got fouls in it all day long. You know, if we can cause their players to have another punch up between themselves, happy days. Maybe, and we take advantage of it this time. Danny's gone 3-1. You know, get your score predictions in afterwards in the comments, and just let me know. What kind of game do you feel this is going to be? I feel this is going to be sort of a, how should I put it? I don't want to say chess match, but I do think it's going to be a slow game. I think all we know so far. So I'm looking to learn something new from the coaches in this game, because, like I say, it's all about how much time they've had. Are our players going to come out with desire, with passion to win, or are they going to come out sort of being cagey, not to lose? I think that Everton will defend, and so far all I've seen us play well in is against attacking sides, so that's going to go against us. Danny, you just said a minute ago about sideways passing. That has been a real issue, especially around the box. We're not playing penetrating balls. We're not making runs in behind. We're not making second, third man runs off the striker. Now, is that because Cesco's not been playing to hold the ball up or flick it in? Maybe. But, you know, if Mbeumo's on, say, Tarkowski, then Cunha needs to make that run in behind Tarkowski. So if he does that, he's got to think twice about who he's picking up, or even across him to free up Mbeumo. So you come across, you go between the gap of the defender and your striker, free up the ball. But I do feel like this is a battle of midfield. Whenever you play someone like Everton, it's definitely a midfield battle. In the last few games, I wouldn't say we've lost the midfield battle, but we can't say we've won it either. So I don't know how you feel. Casemiro, like I say, has been unreal. Mainoo still worries me about his running speed if they hit us on the counter, which is what they're going to aim to do. Just needs to show up for 90 minutes plus. Exactly. If you're playing for 90 minutes, you've got to give me. You've got to pretend you've got extra time coming. The stupid shit I've seen this weekend. Look at the Arsenal game. 10 minutes added on just because the ref can't sort out their armbands. you know. And then there was VAR checks. You could easily play now 100+ minutes matches, and they're starting to come back because the games are being more. They're getting to that pinnacle part of the season where they want less and less mistakes. Fullbacks don't offer much going forward. That's the main reason. But is that because of the fear? So if Luke Shaw can't offer much if he doesn't have someone out wide with him. So if Cunha is the left-sided player and he comes in field, that leaves Luke Shaw on his own. So there's no overlap. He is now the left winger. And it's a bit like with Dalot. Dalot was never really offering that with... I almost got confused there. Diego Dalot was not offering that with Amad Diallo. But with Mazraoui and Diallo, I think Mazraoui is natural about getting forward. You've got to remember he came from a Bayern Munich team as a fullback, and that's all about getting up and down that wing. Same with the Ajax team he was in, same as what we want to see, and I do think he offers us that. And he will bust a gut to get back into position where Dalot won't. So, yeah, I'm hoping that's something they've been working on. That's a very good point you make there. Yeah, Paul scammed another win. If you haven't seen that goal, I still can't believe it's been given as onside. It looks clear as day for the contact of the ball. He was offside, and then the player's leg comes in after. But yeah, hey, all I think back is we won an FA Cup because of what happened against Coventry. So I don't ever criticise those decisions. We all get them, and we all don't. But that's why it's important we win tomorrow. We're all there on the same points now. We win, we go 3 points ahead of Chelsea. Is it 3 or is it 2? It's either 2 or 3 points ahead. I haven't looked at the table today to make sure. Chelsea have the better goal difference, so we need a few goals over the next couple of games. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really tight match, and that's why I say penalty near the end. I can imagine near the end we throw the kitchen sink, the old-fashioned United way, and someone goes over in the box and we get a penalty to win it. I think we score first. I think they equalise. That's sort of how I in my head I'm depicting the game going. But I put on my notes for tonight to what to talk about. Actually, the last part, and it's exactly what you've just put here. So it shows the fan base is thinking the same. Need to turn up for 90 minutes plus. I put what will it take to win, and it will take that fight, that passion, that determination. It will take the right substitutions at the right moments. We all know who we have on the bench, and are they game changers? Let's hope so. But it's going to take patience. I think that's probably the key word against a team like Everton. Anyone in the bottom third, it's about patience. It's about when we've got the ball, we need to make them run. We need to drag them around. So if you're just going to pass it from Dalot to Maguire every time is going to pass it to Martinez, they know who to press on. So they get to rest. We can't have them resting. We win tomorrow night by pushing forward, by constantly, even if we have to recycle, we get to the corner flag, we move it around and we come back. But we don't come all the way back to our own half. We've got to come back, play a cross-field ball out, stretch the pitch, make it as wide as possible. It is going to be that kind of game. So we can only hope that everything goes the right way. But yeah, what are you guys saying? Tell me, how do we win tomorrow? Do you think we have to play Cesco Xerxes up front and go height for height against their centre backs? Do you think it's all dependent on Bruno? Are we too reliant on Bruno? Maybe it pops in my head from time to time. Maybe the way we are successful is when Martinez doesn't get overconfident with his passing out from the back. Because let's be fair, if he steps forward and makes the wrong pass, he hasn't got the pace to get back either. So down the stretch. Yeah. It's all going to be about stretching them. but they are very fit. They're very physical. And we all know how their manager wants to play. Obviously, the way he played with us at United, well, that sounds wrong, doesn't it? But, you know, at West Ham, Moyes was pragmatic. At Everton, he's pragmatic. At United, he tried to be something he wasn't. That's why he failed. But he's very pragmatic. He gets a lot out of the players. He'll fire them up to come at us. Now it's about, can we fire ourselves up to go away from home, step out, and basically, to quote Roy Keane, sometimes you've got to put the first tackle in to let them know you're there. You know, can you snap someone in half and say, hey, that's the kind of game it's going to be tonight. From me, you come near me, you're getting it. Because I think Everton's always been one of those kind of teams that you have to stand up, you have to fight for every ball, you know, tooth and nail, even throw an elbow, throw a headbutt. You know, it's one of those games where you know there's always a chance of a punch-up. You know there's a chance of a red card because both teams have always wanted it. That's the past. What are we like tomorrow night? That's my question. That's the question I want you all to answer. What do you think we are going to turn up and be like tomorrow night? Are you concerned? So that's pretty much it from me. Is there anything anyone wants to bring up from the chat? Let me know quickly. Otherwise, we'll give it about 30 seconds and I'll end it there. I said I wanted to go sort of about 45 minutes max tonight. And I think it's been quite straightforward. You know, if there's anything you feel I haven't covered, come back to me and let me know in the comments afterwards. Or have your say on the community page. Come over on the United Lens community page. You know, as much interaction in there as you like because I will respond to pretty much everything. And yeah, otherwise you can jump over and watch it on TikTok. So no other questions really coming. So I think we'll end it there, guys, on 38 minutes. And I will see you for I'll probably do it Tuesday night. For those who don't know, I'll be on Tactical Devils Monday night, probably doing the breakdown straight after the show with Jarvis and Stu. And then I will do a review show on here. So thank you all for watching. And I will catch you Tuesday night when we go over the ins and outs of this game.